Right now on Upfront.
On to the midterms.
They have a new word. They always have a hoax. The new word is affordability.
The battle for Wisconsin and Washington set to dominate 2026.
Time has run out on Republican inaction.
Control of Congress at stake, the fierce battle ahead, and the Trump factor front and center.
And I don't push the president on these things, but my general view is the president's going to get involved.
With us this Sunday, our exclusive, former White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus. Then the battle for governor.
It's kind of fun watching it from the side instead of being part of it.
The primaries heating up.
And my eyes are actually focused on November.
I'm looking at this as a general election race.
Our panel, Democrat Joe Zepecki and Republican Bill McCoshen, here to break it all down, alongside their highly anticipated winners and losers, and who to watch in the year ahead. And AI dispatchers.
It's definitely a lot different than anything we've ever done before.
Bringing you inside the new technology looking to address a shortage statewide. The New Year's edition of Upfront starts now.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year. 2026 is upon us, and the attention both here in Wisconsin and across the country will quickly turn to the midterms. In Wisconsin, the big open race for governor, and nationally, the battle for Congress. We'll get to it all today. First, perhaps the biggest factor, the Trump factor. How involved will the White House and President Trump be in the midterms, and will it help Republicans or Democrats more? With that, we begin our recent conversation with Reince Priebus, the former Trump Chief of Staff, RNC Chair, and Wisconsinite. So as we sit here, the new year upon us, from your perspective, what are the chances Republicans keep both the House and the Senate as we look ahead to next November?
Well, look, I think it's all going to depend on a few things. It's going to depend on what's the price of gas, what's the price of groceries, where are the Democrats on culture wars. I mean, I know the narrative. The narrative is, it's going to be a rough year because the incumbent president. But the truth is, Matt, and I think everyone understands this, nothing makes sense anymore. I mean, you can go back to 2016, like, it was going to be close, or Trump wasn't going to win, and lo and behold, he did win. 2018, we were going to get blown out. We didn't do as bad as people thought. 2020 was going to be a blowout, and it was close. 22, red wave, didn't happen. 24, it's supposed to be close. Trump wins the popular vote. I mean, does anyone really know anything anymore? And I think that's really true.
So how do you even campaign with that mentality?
Well, I mean, look, the old saying is that you don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the person next to you, right? So who's the Democrat? Where are the Democrats? Right now, I think Quinnipiac had a poll out a couple days ago that showed the Democrat party numbers like 50 points upside down. I mean, it was just worse than anything you could possibly imagine. So we're running against a very, very unpopular party. So when Trump won in 2016, I always remind people, Trump was at 37%, but you know what was great? Hillary was at 35. So you can never analyze these things in a vacuum.
You, of course, are a Wisconsinite. Let's talk about the Wisconsin's governor's race, which will dominate here in the state a lot. Do you see the White House getting involved in this? Is the president going to endorse in this primary?
Well, my general view, and I don't push the president on these things, but my general view is the president's going to get involved. I mean, you just have to assume it. He likes having his fingerprints on things. I think we all know that. I think he is going to get involved. I don't see him sitting out. I do know that he respects very much Tom Tiffany. Tom has been very loyal, but Tom is his own guy too, up in the 7th Congressional District, very unique part of the world, unique part of the state. So I know he has a relationship with the president. I'm not speaking for the president, but I mean, clearly Tom Tiffany is, he's got a lot of momentum. I think he's well known, certainly in the Republican world. And I never met the county executive who's running against him. Not that I needed to, or he needs to reach out to me. He doesn't, but I really don't know him. So what I know is Tom Tiffany's been a great congressman, and it seems by all accounts he's probably the front runner.
With that, do you see any scenario where any other Republicans get in? We just saw Eric Hovde say no, he's not going to do it. There's been this talk about Tim Michels. Does anyone else get in?
I mean, I highly doubt a Hovde or a Michael. Well, Hovde said he's not getting in, so that's that. But I highly doubt that Tim Michels will get in. I mean, I think it's getting a little late.
Broadly, when you look, Ryan, it's not only in Wisconsin, but some of these special elections we've seen recently. The question is, how do Republicans win when Trump is not on the ballot? How do you apply that to the midterms?
Well, the midterms are tough to read, but look, I always say it goes back to really boring things. Because these elections are going to be close. It comes down to mechanics. It comes down to who's got the better data, who knows everything about every voter that could possibly go one way or the other. Do you know what beer they drink, what car they drive, how many kids they have, how much money they make? I mean, obviously some of that's disturbing, but with today's consumer data and access, people in Wisconsin, the parties in Wisconsin, Brian Schimming, RPW, and for that matter, the DPW, I mean, it's a serious party too. They know everything you can possibly imagine. So who does better on the ground, the data, turnout? It's the same old thing. Lincoln said, find every Whig and get him to the polls. Well, you got to find them, and you got to know who to bring and who not to bring. That's what this will come down to. And the Democrats, I mean, they've lost their minds. I mean, that's the, I know I've said it before, but that is the gift, the Christmas gift, is that the Democrats are so far out to lunch on cultural issues that in 2024, the only 3 areas that the Democrats improved on were, number 1, rich people, people who make over $150,000 a year. Number 2, non-religious people. And number 3, people who have advanced degrees. Now, I grew up in Kenosha, Wisconsin under sort of traditional Republican, traditional Democrats. If you were to tell me that Democrats have become the party of rich, non-religious, super advanced degreed people, that's a dying party. So they have a lot of work to do. As much as they want to trash President Trump, they should also look in the mirror and say, what are we all about? And Wisconsin people don't like that stuff.
Is this all going to come down to, we've heard the word affordability thrown around a lot in recent weeks. Is the campaigns going to come down to that?
Well, I think it could, but I think it's also going to come down to culture wars, too. I mean, they're still going to have to answer for immigration, no cash bail, this sort of anti-police sentiment that people like Mandela Barnes have, that he's not going to be able to shake. I hope Mandela Barnes becomes the Dem nominee. It makes it a lot easier.
I was going to say, do you think he will be the Democratic nominee?
I think it would be pretty. I think it would be pretty bad for the Democrats to do that. I shouldn't give away the dirty secret here, but I think he probably will be, knowing what the Democrats have been all about lately.
A year ahead, we'll get to it all. Ryan Priebus, like always, we appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, Matt.
Up next, our look ahead to 2026 continues with Democratic strategist Joe Zepecki, Republican Bill McCoshen, both standing by next.